I've taken my first 2 Vietnamese lessons and have my 3rd one today. Xin chào, chào bạn, tôi bằng em anh chạy, anh chạy, em trai, em gái, con chạy, tên Kevin. Tôi tên là Kevin. My name is Kevin. Em ơi, cho mình em ơi, cho mình ba mươi cái. Cho mình ba mươi cái. The tones, very hard. Prior to taking these lessons, I thought it was going to be impossible to try and get some of these tones. But my tutor has made it very easy for me to understand how the tones go with each letter and how the symbol above the letter or below the letter dictate how your voice pitches with those tones. Something that I thought was extremely difficult, she laid out as a very simple process. Lesson number 2, we got into talking about who I am, where I'm from, how old I am, how to understand a child, male versus female, how to understand somebody younger than you but not a child, male versus female, and people older than you, so an auntie or an uncle, male versus female. How you interact with the people, some common greetings, as well as what to do when you're in a restaurant. How do you call the waiter? Em ơi? How do you order food? Some of the basics that you need just to communicate while you're there. Why am I learning all of this now and not waiting until I arrive? Because I want to hit the ground running and be able to at least get some basic communication going. A lot of this came from the inspiration of one of you viewers. Thank you, Jordan. He inspired me to start now instead of waiting till I get there so that I'm prepared the day I step off that plane to start very basic communications with the Vietnamese people. I want to connect with locals. I don't want to just survive. I want to be able to communicate and engage with the culture, the locals, the environment, everything around me. I don't want to be just a tourist. I'm going there to enjoy life. I basically got 2 months, a few days less than 2 months, but I started last week. I took a trial lesson on Friday. On Monday, I took my first official lesson, and every Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the next 4 weeks, I've got lessons booked. Minus one day that's a Tuesday instead of a Monday, because that Monday is the last day of Tet, or last day of the new year, or the old year, before they start the new year in Vietnam. So my tutor asked me to push a day. No worries, I'm flexible. And chances are, I'm probably going to continue this through March too, so I'll have another 4 weeks or another 12 lessons to wrap up before I hop on that plane and go. And while I'm in Vietnam, I will continue, hopefully using the same tutor, the same website, or she's there in central Vietnam. Maybe we can do some in-persons, or maybe I get enrolled into an actual class that's going on there. One never knows. So what am I using? Come on, Kevin, give us the secret. What are you using? Simple site called Preply. Why? Jordan recommended it. And when I went to the site, it was easy to flow, it was easy to navigate, easy to look through the tutors and be able to see the cost comparison to individual people based on their skill level, where they're from, being able to see where they specialize, because there are kind of like 3 different dialects within Vietnam. You know, you got the northern, the central, and the southern. And each one's going to tell you that their own is the national language. You're able to see a video from the tutor, so you can see, you know, how is the English going to interact with you. You can see what they charge per hour or, you know, lesson, because you get a 50-minute lesson. You can also see their flexibility. Does their schedule match up with yours? I found somebody who was very inexpensive. They charge $5 a lesson, and I'm sure as they get more popular, that price is going to go up. Their schedule was pretty flexible to be able to meet my immediate needs of 3 times a week. And she makes every lesson fun and engaging. It's not about just learning. It's about, hey, let's watch a music video, and then we pick out the pieces in the music video of what she's trying to teach. Or, hey, let's order food. Why? Because I'm a foodie. She watched my video to understand why I'm going to Vietnam and has created the lessons around that. We had an engaging conversation and a little survey that she gave me before we ever even met, so she could understand who I was, what I was looking for, and how she could help me. Let's take a look at her profile. All right, let's talk about Preply. It's not just about learning Vietnamese. There are tutors in other languages as well as other subjects. Find your tutor, start learning, make progress every week. That's what they tell you, right? And if you want to become a tutor, hey, it's a great way to make a little extra cash. So you can search for tutors on here. So let's go ahead and go find a tutor, right? What do you want to learn? I want to learn computer science, chemistry, languages, accounting, math, statistics, economics, history, physics. As you can see, there's tons of subjects in here. Public speaking, programming languages, IT project management. All kinds of avenues. So you simply just put in what you're looking to do. So I'm going to type out Vietnamese. Find a tutor. There's 292 tutors, right? Find a tutor. So now it says, hey, what are your goals? Well, culture, travel, hobby. Yes, that's me. By when do you want to achieve this goal? 3 to 6 months. Actually, as long as it takes. Which topics do you want to focus on? No preference. Vietnamese for beginners. Yeah, we want beginners. I am a beginner. I'm just starting. I know the basics. I know conversation. I'm fluent. Let's see. I'm just starting out. Okay. Only see Vietnamese native speakers. So if you want to filter down to only people who that is their normal language, their first language, you can. Where do you want them to be? Any country? Vietnam? The U.S.? I don't care. Any country. Are there any other languages you would like your tutor to speak? Well, yeah, I would prefer that they could speak English so that we can communicate some, and it doesn't have to be perfect English. My Vietnamese sure ain't going to be perfect. When can you take lessons? So you can kind of gear it towards your schedule, and they will find people for you. Right? I want to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, mornings. Continue. How much is your budget? $3 to $40+ per 50-minute lesson. Well, let's just bring this down and say, okay, I don't want to spend more than $15. Because that's exactly what I did the first time I was at Preply and looking. Of course, it wants you to log in order to see them. Give them your information. It's free to begin with. But here is mine. Mai has a video on here that she goes into her. She speaks both English and Vietnamese on the video. She actually speaks Hangul as well, which is the language in Korea. She's from the Central Highlands and later lived in Da Nang. So right there, she kind of hit a piece for me because she's been in the environment where I'm going. So being able to pick up references of where I'm going and knowing the culture is a plus and a benefit to me. She'll also know any local dialects or accents or anything else that might be needed for that region. And she says she understands the differences between northern, central, and southern accents. A lot of the tutors on here only did northern, only did southern, which I'm okay with if I had to learn that. But you learn a lot more about her from her video. And let's take a look. $5 a lesson. Very affordable. You can see their schedule. You can see their resume. You can see their specialties, which it's Vietnamese for beginners. And then it suggests a couple of other tutors. And again, they're all similar. They all have videos on there. I think that's part of the requirement for their profile. But I would highly recommend Mai as your tutor. I am really enjoying my lessons with her. So for me personally, I bonded with Mai, and it's been a great, fulfilling, rewarding experience just in the first couple of lessons that makes me feel comfortable and happy to be continuing learning from her. You know, as I said, in the first lesson, we learned some very basics. We went over the tone system, you know, the 6 core tones that Vietnamese language has. We learned some basic phrases like xin chào, which is how you say hello. Come on, which is thank you. And in lesson 2, I learned Tôi tên là Kevin. My name is Kevin. We talked about struggles. We talked about wins. She had some presentations or slides that she showed and she shares with you. The YouTube videos that she brought in, there was a couple music videos or informational videos about the culture. She shares those with you so you can go back and watch them. She does give you a little bit of homework, but it's all practice. It's you practicing what she's teaching you, so when you come back to the next lesson, you're ready to go. Lesson number 2, we got more into actual culture, you know, learning the people, learning the foods, not everything, just enough to get some basics out of the way. My goals before leaving in April: basic greetings, numbers, ordering food, asking for directions, emergency phrases, the key things you need when you're traveling abroad. I am also watching some YouTube videos and trying to practice with local Vietnamese here in Syracuse. There's a restaurant I frequent, and the waiter there has been very helpful. Once he found out I was preparing to go to Vietnam, he has like made his day. He wants to ask, you know, hey, did you think about this? Did you want to go here? And the funny thing is, I've already researched some of that, so I had some of the answers, and he's like, wow, you're very prepared. And then as I've learned different key phrases or different words, I try them out with them. Why not? I've got this opportunity right there in my lap while I'm getting food. Order it in Vietnamese. Practice, practice, practice. Do I get it right? Do I butcher it? I'm sure, but that's part of the fun of learning. Think back to when you were a kid learning English for the first time. Or if you're American like myself, how about when we got a little bit older and we were forced to take a foreign language? Yeah. If only the school teachers made it fun to learn. You know, my monthly cost is going to be like $60, $5 a lesson, 12 lessons a month, 3 times a week, 4 weeks in a month. To me, I think the values, I'm getting the better value on that. But again, $5 here goes a lot further in Vietnam. Should you learn Vietnamese? I don't know. If you're going there, I would say yes. Learn the language. It shows respect for the locals. It opens doors socially. It makes daily life easier. Not many foreigners try, and you will stand out. The arguments against it: English is widely spoken. In the tourist areas, what happens when you're not in a tourist area? Tones are generally difficult. Sure. So is the English language. Ask any foreigner that's tried to learn English. Just look at the words we use. Where, there, that have multiple spellings, but the word is pronounced exactly the same. Yeah, talk about some confusion, right? One of the other arguments that I constantly hear from student people as I've been telling them that I'm learning Vietnamese is, well, you can survive without it. Why are you wasting your time with that? Oh, you're spending too much time investment. Dude, I'm going to look to change my life. Why would I not invest in myself and in my skills to be a better citizen while I'm there? So down below in the description, you will find a link to Preply. And yes, it is a referral link, not an affiliate link, a referral link. I do get compensated for you clicking that link and making a purchase. Does it add anything to your purchase? No. Just simply gives me credits for more lessons. You'll find a link to Mai's profile. Go sign up with it. Take a trial lesson. You can take a half hour or an hour and get comfortable with her or any other tutor on Preply. What other resources am I using? YouTube. Why not? It's one of the biggest learning environments we have, and it cost us nothing. So as I'm recording this, today is Tuesday, and guess what arrived today? My passport. Yeah! Was scheduled to be here Thursday, and it showed up today. Gotta love when the government's early. This allowed me to go book my flights, book my hotels, and this allowed me to apply for my Vietnamese visa. But don't worry, our video coming out on Friday will walk you through that entire process of applying for a visa. And hopefully, we get it done within the 3 business days, which will put us on Friday that we might have an answer back. Alrighty. Big thanks to Jordan for kicking me into gear and recommending I start now instead of waiting till I arrive to learn the language. If you're new to the channel, you haven't seen any of my other videos, hit the subscribe button. Follow my journey as I prepare to move to Vietnam. Go back and watch the why video, the first video we posted on this channel. It will tell you all about what we're documenting here. Xin chào. We'll see you Friday. Let's roll.